Hello! In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint stems and leaves in Rebelle with the help of the tilt feature. Now, if you don't see the tilt panel or navigator panels over on the side here somewhere, no worries. Just head up here to Window in the menu, look down the list here, and make sure Tilt and Navigator are both checked. That'll get them to show up for you. So I'm going to be using the watercolor brush tool for the actual painting in this tutorial. I'm going to be using the round 2 brush, and we'll adjust the water load just a little bit here. You can always adjust these to get some different effects, but this is good for now. I've also laid out certain colors on my mixing palette. You can also pick colors from the color wheel or choose an existing palette from the color set tab. And finally, I have a pencil sketch I made of some poppy flower heads on a lock layer to use as a guide. Alright, so now let's go over the basics of the tilt tool. First, we have the on-off circle in the middle. Click that to turn the tilt feature on, and then click it again to turn it off. If it's blue, that means it's on. Next, we have the angle adjustment. Just click and drag your mouse around the circle to change the tilt angle. And lastly, we have the tilt force. So this little blue line in the handle here dictates the force of your tilt. You just click and drag it towards the blue center dot or away from it to adjust. So closer to the circle would be a gentler tilt, and all the way out is a steep, strong tilt. So I'll do some little demos on the side here so you can get an idea of what this does. First, I need to make sure my tilt is on and add some paint. I'm gonna tilt it down and put it to a strong tilt. And you'll see that the paint is noticeably moving downwards. You can also change the tilt direction and force while the paint's still moving. So I switched the tilt to go up, and you can see the paint starting to move upwards now. If it starts spreading too fast and you want to calm it down a little, you can spread it around by changing the tilt angle or adjusting the tilt force bar. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase that now. And I'll show you how to create some drips. For drips, you'll want to make sure the tilt is on, of course, and have higher tilt force. I want my drip to go right, so I'll rotate this and pull it to full force. I'll pull a little line out to get it going. Now, if it starts dripping too quickly, you can always come over to the layers panel on the right here and click the pause button. This pauses diffusion, so you have a bit more time to plan things if you need to. So while it's paused here, I can get a hard drip direction change. Let's go down and unpause it. See, so now it's changed directions. I'm gonna do it again. We'll go right this time. So this is a good way to get more geometric shapes with your drips. One more unpause, and then we'll do a new direction, and there it goes. All right, let's get rid of that sample and get going on the actual leaves and stems now. Okay, with the watercolor brush tool selected on a different layer from our sketch, we'll come over to this flower and get a stem going. We'll want it to come down, so let's do some drip. To get things started, we'll use the water only tool from the left there, and make sure the show wet button is clicked in the layers panel here. You can see all the active layer statuses in the upper left of your work area here. So right now I have diffusion paused and wet area visible. Okay, so let's see. I'll leave diffusion paused and start wetting my paper for the stems. I like to pre-plan some of my stem shapes with water to get the paint to travel a more strict pathway once I add it. You can toggle the wet visibility on and off as you're working, but I like to have it on a lot of the time to help me. Yeah, here you can see it dripping down the pathway started with the plain water. And here, I'll play with reducing the force so you can see it slow down. And then I'll kick it back up again. See? Still following my water line there. I'm just going to continue building the color now and extending the stem. So I will, let's see, which green? Let's do a mid shade. All right, let's add a leaf to this guy here. I want these shapes to be pretty tight and planned, so I'm going to draw out my leaves with plain water to help guide again. So I'm selecting the water tool again, and let's draw some little branched leaves. Let's have them spreading out some different directions. Now that we have some prepped, let's add some paint. I've selected the watercolor brush again and have the tilt angle set to up. I don't want to spread it just yet though, so I've turned the tilt off for a second. Just adding some paint from the bottom here. And turn the tilt back on. Why isn't this moving? Oh! I have diffusion pause still on. Well, if things aren't moving, be sure to check if your pause button's on. Make sure your tilt is on when you want it. I have tilt off here so you can see what regular diffusion into white areas looks like without any tilt influence. It's a pretty even spread outwards into the water. And now I've turned tilt back on, and I want to spread color just into one side of the leaf. So I put some yellow here on the right, and it's mostly heading up in my tilt direction. Ooh, we even got a nice little surprise drip at the tip there. I don't want a bigger drip though, so just drop the force to low, and we'll tilt that back down now. Whoops. Accidentally pushed my force way up, and I changed tilt direction back downwards, so I have an unwanted drip at the bottom now. That's easy enough to correct though. You can always pause and then erase with the eraser tool. Okay, let's give this leaf a stem with some little bumps on it, like little nodules where new leaves might grow. Adding some plain water going down to help the stem drip get started a little bit better. Let's use a sponge tool to dry the top of the leaf up some. I don't want the stem paint trying to diffuse upwards. Now let's take a dark green and really pile it on down here. There it goes. Look how pretty that little drip is. And I'll just keep building up the dark area. Now for the stem bumps. I like to make these with the blow tool on the left here. While the stems are dripping, I just do a small blow where I want my stem nodules to be. So that's a way to vary your drip shapes a little bit. There's actually another fun way to play around with the tilt feature, and that's to rotate your canvas. There are a couple ways to do that. If you hop over to the Navigator tab up here, I put it right next to my tilt panel, but yours might be located somewhere else. Anyway, you can rotate it in degrees of 10, either left or right with these buttons. And if you hover over them, you'll see the keyboard shortcuts for your specific system pop up there too. But you can also quickly rotate your canvas by holding R down on your keyboard and then clicking and dragging it around. I won't be doing anything very exciting using canvas rotation, but you can get some cool effects with it. You can do like neat, drippy spiral shapes and stuff. So I definitely recommend you play around with it and experiment and see what kind of neat things you can come up with. I'll continue filling in leaves and do a little canvas rotation here. Okay, we're at the extra fun part now. We're going to make the rest of the flower stems just with drips and tilt. I've used plain water to wet my flower bases, and because this is on a single layer, I'm using the sponge tool to dry up wet areas on the leaves here. I don't want the new stem drips to try and diffuse into the leaves. I'll move my tilt direction down and increase the force, and we'll start filling these in with paint. Look at all those drips. Let's tweak the direction a bit in real time to keep them a little more organic looking. Oh, we got a couple of that didn't get going yet. Let's help them along. I'll just add some extra paint. Now, just some cleanup and fixes where things went a little wonky. And just finishing extending some of these down now. Okay, and that's it for the stems and leaves. Just to finish the flowers now. We're gonna do some cheery, happy orange poppies, I think. Well, that'll do it for this painting. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any other Rebelle features you'd like me to cover, just let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching.